Altcoins is the topic of the day, and altcoins looking like they've actually bottomed on the macro scale here. However, what does that actually mean for the next move to come? Well, that is the topic of today, obviously. And other than that, I want to welcome you back to the Krown Crypto channel. It is a nice and chill, very boring, very sideways Sunday over here from Helsinki, Finland. It's been like this for the past 6 weeks now almost. And as we work our way into the early portion of August in just a couple days here, I do want to sort of prepare the higher term time frame look for altcoins today, as there's, well, some new things to be speaking about over there. Anyways, yeah, before we get into it, I do want to once again let you know that you can still get the Jewel Light for free for the first 30 days if you follow the directions in the link in the description below, blah, 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 blah. There's your free show of the day. Let's get into the content right here, right now, actually. So starting off with actually total 3, which is the total crypto market cap, excluding Bitcoin, Ethereum, and stable coins, we can see that it is currently and has been basing off of that green 55 exponential moving average for quite some time now, actually, really going back to, I mean, it really got into this range, I would say June of last year, and ever since then, it's been just kind of oscillating in there. More importantly, we do see a few things of particular interest. So first and foremost, I don't know about foremost, but firstly, we'll be speaking about the hidden bullish divergence on the monthly RSI right here. Now, there's not really too many iterations on this particular chart. If we were to go to total 2 or even total market cap, you'll see that a lot of the long-term macro cycle lows are actually put in on monthly hidden bullish divergence. I'll just actually briefly bring you over here to Bitcoin, and we can see there's actually 3 examples. This one should be counted over here, but it was a little bit too early for Caretaker's RSI to pick up. But yes, you know, we have this one right here, this one right here, and then this one right here, of course. Going back to total 3, we can see a few different anchor points coming in from the lows of 2018 to 2019, connected with the lows over here in 2023, basically. On top of that, monthly Jewel is still keeping with its upside posturing, coming off extreme lows right there. Again, not a whole hell of a lot of reads right here, but if we do go over to Bitcoin, kind of the same thing as the monthly RSI. Actually, let's just briefly go over. How about that? Same thing, coming in from these lower levels. These have marked off macro lows in the past. So I'd say that's another damn good thing for altcoins long term, that the lows are very, very likely in. With that said, we can also see that monthly volatility represented by the HPDRV, the Herpaderpa V, is at some of the lowest levels that it's ever been ever. And typically speaking, when volatility kind of bases off and goes into a full on contraction phase after a big move in either direction, especially on a time frame like this, that is a damn good sign that you're probably going to see a reversal. We saw the same thing from the upside to the downside over here, same thing from the downside to the upside over here, perhaps the same thing going on over here. Although, and this is where I'll kind of lead into the next portion of this topic, is that this can take a long time. This can take a very, very long time. However, I did forget to mention one last thing. Here it is. The monthly stochastic oscillator is also getting a fresh, or it's not necessarily fresh cross the upside, but it's going to be working its way back above the critical zone for the first time since August of last year, actually, assuming that this month closes basically anywhere above last month's low almost. Yeah, close to last month's low, which is, so far so good, with just a couple days left here in the trading month to go. So, again, sideways and up, probably the name of the game. This can take a very, very long time. Where would be the obvious technical area to be getting excited yet again? Well, if I throw my drawing tools right here, we can just take a quick inverted fib, and we can see that 382 very likely marking off the top side of this current range. I'll just put in a nice horizontal bar here as well. Somewhere around here would be, fair game. In the interim, we do see a slew of lower highs all the way through. So yes, it is on the weaker side, of course. So this would be sort of the next area of interest, I suppose, to the upside at about 390 billion, or just even reclaiming this prior high over here that we did see from April of this year. Anywhere above there, just in like the low $400 billion market, that would be the next sort of, I guess, interim area of interest, to get excited for these things. But the big one is about 460 billion, or between about 460 to 480-ish billion. If I'm looking at a weekly, I'd say 480. If I'm looking at a monthly, then 460. But in this case, yeah, if we start to see things, popping back above there, that's when I think that's what a lot of people are probably looking for with alts, with those big, bad, massive moves. And at that point, probably just going to see a general explosion. Until then, this can take a very, very long time. But, we do see several signs here that long term, the US dollar valuations are very likely, bottomed out for the most part. There's going to going to be several altcoins that just get, you know, shellacked one way or the other just because they're fucking altcoins. And they had, you know, they had no business being around anyways. But I expect for, you know, the more legitimate ones, that's a pretty damn good sign for the long term. Now, again, in the short term here, I do expect this to be a little bit more kind of floaty and, you know, and trade a bit more sideways. You might even see another retest somewhere kind of near the lows, you know, maybe back to like 3.25 billion. But ultimately, I'd probably be looking for later this year, maybe early 2024, for this one to actually put in a decent move to the upside. Sorry, my voice is leaving me today. Yesterday we did this workout. It was called the assault bike. It was the worst thing I've ever done in my life ever. Holy shit. Oh my God, 17 minutes of full on and full off, 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off. I thought I was actually gonna suffocate, like for fucking real. Insane, absolutely insane. Anyways, yeah, so we've gotten through that. Now I want to go over to Bitcoin dominance because it's not the full picture just to look at this, of course. While altcoins have very likely, you know, especially like the decent ones, have bottomed out versus their US dollar pairings, the general direction versus the Bitcoin Satoshi pairings probably not going to be doing all that well. Oh, whoops, I'm on the wrong chart right there. Now, here's the thing, and to kind of reference the title of this video, last chance, some good clickbait right there. Good job, thumbnail editor. But in this case, you know, I would actually be looking for August to come down a little bit in terms of Bitcoin dominance, meaning that we do see this pullback continue a little bit more. So anywhere around the yellow 21 exponential average, maybe even testing that breakout point, somewhere around about 49.5%. Sorry, actually, let me dial it in here. Sorry, 48.5%. 48.5% would be fair game in this case. But long term, you know, the direction is still very much set. If we go over here to stochastic momentum for Bitcoin dominance, let's see what it's looking like. It's getting pretty damn high, as you can see, very, very deep within the critical zone. The last time that it was kind of around this region was actually coming into December of 2019, where after that, I mean, it was pretty much just down only until we saw, the lows as of recently in September of 2022. But in this case, you know, I would be looking at this still as a macro breakout and still as just a pullback until proven otherwise, meaning that, you know, as long as Bitcoin dominance is especially above 47%, bullish as fuck is the technical term that I'd be kind of applying right here. But in the short term, yeah, it probably does pull back. So altcoins probably gonna be doing well versus their Bitcoin Satoshi pairing, just in general there. And then once it kind of retests right around these regions, at that point, I'd be looking for this one to continue on with its upwards and onwards action. Looking at the monthly here, especially, you know, I do think that we still will see 54% on this read before end of year probably, and then maybe into next year, like a year and a half from now, probably somewhere into like the deep 50s, lower 60s, I suspect, before we potentially see the next sort of macro high on this. So that would imply that altcoins, while they probably have bottomed versus their US dollar pairing, have not bottomed versus that. My voice is just killing me right now. What the hell is going on here? I feel fine, by the way. Well, except for yesterday, but except for my damn legs, but my voice is all crackly. Anyways, yeah, you know, long term, still probably looking for it to come up here. Short term, probably a bit of a pullback. Do I have anything else over here? Yeah, the weekly, you know, also governing this pullback, obviously, is that white 200 moving average. Of course, when we do start to see it break back above there, that's at the point where you can really expect big moves into the 58, maybe 62% range. Of course, in the short term, we do see that the weekly jewel is actually still showing that downside momentum. So, yeah, I would be looking for this correction to continue on to the downside, maybe even coming all the way back down to 47%. But I do remain bullish on this long term as long as it's above 47%. But, you know, that would be a pretty decent correction here. But ultimately, something like that, you know, maybe it ends up being something like this, boop, 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 and then nice try to the upside later this year, and probably around the start of Q4 if I had to guess. Anyways, that's going to do it for today's video. Nice and short and sweet on this very uneventful weekend / last 6 weeks. But you know what? We're still here, baby. We're still here. I show up every day no matter what because it's just a ritual. It's just the damn ritual. At this point, I'm making more videos than I am trades. Like this past week was so lackluster. So fucking lackluster. I probably should have just not even looked at the damn charts. But fair enough. We'll be signing off on that note. I'll be wishing the best as always. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully Monday.